today we're going to do a little journal planner update. What I've been using, what's working, what's not working, what's subtracted, what's added, maybe a little decoration here or there. All right, friends, so some things have been added to the pile. I'm going to tell you one thing that is being subtracted from the pile, and that is this guy right here. At the beginning of the year, I was using him as a social media planner. I'm now kind of just using it periodically for brain dumping, but to be quite honest, I rarely look at this. Now, this is a good planner. This was the, I'll show you some blank areas. It's an undated planner, which is why I don't mind not using it completely, because I can always pick it back up if I say, hey, let's try this out in this layout. This was from Aldi, and it's the Pembroke, one of the Pembroke work planners. So you got an undated monthly, you've got kind of a brain dumpy page here, and then you've got like task-oriented things. But I found it weird that like they didn't have enough dates for the month. But because like I would have wanted to have at least five, like a work week type deal. I get not having weekends. So I occasionally will pull this out when I want to brain dump some ideas for my pink zebra business or anything for YouTube. I just kind of, that's the one I grab for that, but really barely touching it. Now let's get to the meat and potato stuff. I'm going to move some of these things out of the way so that you can have a better look. This is my goals journal for the year, and I usually pull this out about once a month just to review and set up my goals for the rest of the month. So you have like kind of the overarching things here, and then my word of the year, which is rejoice. I'm so glad I picked that as my word of the year. Every time I come back to it when I'm overwhelmed and stressed, I'm like, oh, but rejoice. It's all good. Be joyful. And then I kind of divvied out each page based on each goal. I won't flip you through. I'll just do like a really quick flip through. I will say professional goal number 2 is going to change because I didn't realize there were some other snafus that came up with this goal. And I think that's the important thing about setting goals in the beginning and then as the year progresses, really seeing how it works. There were some things that came up with that one. This so far is going good. I need to update for July. My July has been a nightmare, which is, well, it's not been a nightmare. That's overly dramatic. My July has been busy, which is kind of why I wanted to do a planner update with you, because I just didn't get a chance to film for this past week. And I feel like, well, we'll get to that when we get to my actual planner that you normally see. This one I did in quarters, so we're ready to start quarter 3 wellness ideas. And then YouTube stuff and personal stuff. This has been a nice little journal, and I'm hoping to keep this going. So like when we do 2026, that'll go in here because I do try to keep my goals very succinct. Gratitude journal. The gratitude journal is another Aldi Pembroke one. And I have found a way to make this guy work for me in a really nice way. I'm going to show you June, hopefully. Yeah. And I'll show you a little bit of July too. So June, I didn't do anything in the monthly. All right, I needed to go. I forgot I needed to go and double check some things because I was excited to film today. So I've started using this also a little bit as memory keeping junk journaling type deals. So these were Sharpie and Jules's report cards from their first day at doggy daycare or puppy daycare. That was something I was really thankful for, that it went well. Now for July, and I'm a little behind on this one, but I started like writing like a quick little one thing a day. Said I'm behind. And I decorated on my own. I didn't film any decoration for this, and then going back to writing every few days. So that's my gratitude journal. That one I do keep I do like it. Let's look at addition, because you won't see this one on my channel, but this is an Archer and Olive journal that I added, and it has to do with my professional goal of becoming a FAME endorsed teacher trainer. And now that I'm in the mentoring phase, I was like, okay, I need a place where I can keep track of what I'm doing. So I went back to my bullet journaler days and I went ahead and wrote each task that I have, gave myself some pages to work on it so that I can keep track as I go of what's going on. And I put these little washi, I used washi as my little divider so I think you can see that. See these little pieces here so that I can quickly find things as I go. And I've even added a brain dump section to this journal. So like I said, this one you're not going to really see because I don't decorate in it and it's all about getting certain things done. I mean, I guess maybe occasionally I might show you what's going on, but it's not like a plan with me deal. Definitely a journal. Super loving it. Also, my Archer and Olive journal that I use for my happiness project. You didn't get to see me do July's. And that's because of the stress I have been putting on myself. So I had to make a choice. Now, I will say June's happiness project, as we do this update, was about exploring. And I knew something was wrong when I had a day where I actually almost made myself cry because I wasn't exploring right. Why do we do these things to ourselves? Comment below if you are like that, where it's like, you didn't do this the way it's supposed to be done. There's no wrong way to explore, and I did get that across to myself, thank goodness. But I didn't expect to do all of these things every day. It was just more I would cross off different days when I did certain things. So I did a little tracker like that. And then I made early on my ideal summer schedule. Some of these things stayed, a lot of them changed, and that's okay. That's why it was called the ideal summer schedule. And then things came up and I was like, all right, schedule's gonna look different. But I wrote, there is no wrong way to complete a happiness project. And I'm gonna read this to you because this is how like bananas I got. I realized this on the day I was looking forward to picking up Subway for lunch. Shouldn't be a big deal, but then I started berating myself for not exploring and going to the local deli. But I really wanted Subway, and after arguing with myself in the car until I almost made myself cry, I realized that this was silly. I was still exploring. I never pick up lunch for just me. It has happened a few times this June, and it's been very nice, meaning a few times where I've gotten to be like, oh, I'm going to, on my way home, I'm going to pick myself up lunch so I can eat because otherwise I get very hangry. But it was nice to do in the summer because during the school year, it doesn't happen. So I'm exploring what it's like to be with me. Right? It's a good time. So I was starting then to panic because I hadn't decorated July's for you guys yet. And then again, I reminded myself, it's not actually about you. YouTube is a hobby and YouTube is fun, but all of these journals and planners are not actually for you. They're for me. So I will show you that July is whimsy. And I just took time while I was binge watching Gilmore Girls. And because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to play in my planners and journals and I want to watch Gilmore Girls. So I said, fine, don't film, just do that. So my happiness thing, and it's funny because it actually came from the happiness podcast, is whimsy. All right, we had a problem where it stopped recording and I talked for a while. That's fun. Anyway, so I was finishing by saying that this actually came from the happiness podcast, and here's kind of how I laid out for this month. Today is actually resort spa day, but I planned for planner time as part of my resort spa day. So I've got some other fun things coming up, and I'll get to share those with you in another video. Let's check out the reading planner because there's not much to talk about there because in the summer, I typically become a little bit more of us I don't want to say a slower reader, but that's the only word that's coming to me. All right, hopefully I fixed all of the starting and stopping of the filming. Like I was saying, I do audiobooks during the year when I'm commuting, so I tend to read less in the summer because I'm just sticking to physical books. So I get through a lot of audiobooks during the year. So I'm not worried about being slightly behind on my goal of getting to 40 books by the end of the year. I finished Rage and Ruin by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I'm working on the last book in that series. It's the Harbinger series. So that part is fun. I haven't really done too much updating in here other than what books I've read, but I'm still using it. So that's all you need to know on that one. It was good. It was unexpected. Again, did not expect that ending. I was like, gotta get book 3 now. So that is the reading journal. Well, let's go to the meat and potatoes of my planning system. This is the Go Getter Girl Daily planner. And I got this one, and it was Gail's idea to turn it into a summer planner. So I'm only using it for June and July. And since it's undated, I can use it for June and July next year too. And it's just been kind of fun to map out my time, especially since life has gotten so busy with parent appointments and things like that, and dealing with parent appointments that have to do with like Medicare and Medicaid and all of those things. Super fun adulting moments. But this past week, and I just took time to decorate it on my own, kind of like with my happiness project planner. I just said, this is what we're doing. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I will be using a Go Getter Girl in 2026 as a regular planner. And then, of course, my tried and true Lights Planner action inserts. These are old covers and discs from a Happy Planner, and I will show you this past week as I speak quickly so that hopefully I get all of the clips done. Yeah, so here is this week in review, and just to tell you kind of how all over the place it's been. I mean, Tuesday was 2 appointments with my mom. We ended up having 3 appointments with my dad. Plus our anniversary was on the 9th, so we had anniversary dinner. It was just a busy week. I feel like every week has been busy, but I'm trying to reframe it so that it's not about, all of the pressure. Like I said, whimsy. The goal for July is whimsy. Lots of fun. So has your planning style or stack changed for this year? I don't see there being a problem. You gotta figure out what works for you, and that's really all that matters. I'm gonna only bring these guys into the frame because there's a lot going on here. But if you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. Tell me more about your planning style in the comments below, and I'll catch you later.